Okay, hey everyone. So what I'm doing in this video is testing out Guild PQ and seeing just like what kind of quality it's in at the moment. Last time I tested it out back in May, it was broken because the beginner jump quest map was glitched in some way where it would just black screen you if you went inside it. Tested it this time and it appears to work. I'm not sure whether Nexon specifically fixed that issue or the issue just fixed itself, in some fashion. From just, it tends to happen like that sometimes where a patch might happen and just going back over the coding, it changes it in some fashion. So it was good to see that it worked. I managed to get a full run done, so I was able to put this video together, which pretty much summarizes the whole PQ for those of you who haven't done it, for new players who it really hasn't been that big a part of the game, to be honest, so you really wouldn't have come across it unless you really went looking for it. And yeah, it was actually removed from the game, just the actual access to the PQ. So this map, it's the excavation area in Pirion, which has been here for a while, but the PQ was out of the game for a while just because either Nexon we thought they might be working on it, but it was out for a sizable amount of time. So what brought me to looking at this PQ again was in the Maple Leaf Council at the moment, there is a group of councillors looking at PQs in general in terms of how they can make them more interesting, and they're putting a bill together. I brought it up during a meeting asking whether this PQ was being looked at inside of that, and they said they would rather leave GPQ to its own thing, so I offered to look at it because I'm actually quite passionate about the PQ, because back in its heyday, back in like 2007, 2006, 2008, around that time, it was actually quite popular, and the guild rankings board, which now just lists all the highest guilds in each server, it wasn't used for a while, but prior to that it was actually used for this PQ because the guilds who did it the most ranked up a lot of points. The points were pretty much useless, and all it did was just show your ranking on the guild board. So yeah, I just thought it might be good to look at it, see what current state it's in, either being glitched, what kind of glitches there are in terms of things you're allowed to do which you shouldn't be allowed to do, and I come across a lot of them throughout the PQ, but I'll wait till I come across them in the video to explain them. And yeah, so it's just me in this run, there's no one else. I'm using 6 of my characters with a Kana, my Corsair, my Xenon, a level 27 Thief, and what else, I think my Mechanic, and the other one, I cannot think of what it was right now. I've probably still got the party up. Oh yeah, and the other one was a Shadower for Darksight, but it actually turns out that I didn't need it. So what I'm looking at here is pretty much the entry to the PQ, where it gives you around roughly 2 to 3 minutes before it actually starts. So I think what it's supposed to do is just build up all the members who want to come join, because it sends out a message to all your members to say that Guild PQ is happening in this channel, so people who want to join should come and sign up. Here you have to break the purple stones in order to get earrings. You need to wear the earrings throughout the whole GPQ, which is interesting because with me it just meant that I lost my earrings, so therefore I wasn't able to cap. So I really wasn't affected by it, but it's one of the interesting aspects of this PQ where you actually need to wear an item to stop you from dying, because if you go beyond this map and the map after it into the actual PQ, you'll die from not wearing the earrings. So yeah, it always used to be funny just watching people either, I think there was, I was talking to a friend on Skype, and he said they used to try blow up the earrings using I think probably 70 or 30% scrolls, which had a chance to boom, and then you just try to blow them up. So yeah, what I've done is I just skipped, so I had 2 characters in the map as well. It turns out I didn't really need them, but yeah, I just have a really strange counting method of doing this. So pretty much there's the bottom, the middle, and the top, and I pretty much rank them from left to right in terms of 1 to, it would be 7, and then 1 to 5 for the middle ones. So yeah, I just instead of going right 1 or left 3, I just go, you know, T1 or T7, and yeah, it's easier to keep track of that. The only issue is that you might miss one, so I had to actually go back over my footage and see the one that I missed, because I failed the first 2 times, as you can see from the message in my chat bar. But I think one of the main things that I like about this PQ, and this stage really reflects it, is that it really relies on teamwork and communication. So yeah, I'm doing this by myself right now, but that's just because I'm paying a lot of attention to it. But normally you'd have one person on each side, and they'd be talking to each other either through chat or on Skype or something like that, so that they'd know which ones to hit. So you can actually get it through really quickly. So don't take how much time it's taking me to do this this run as how long it would normally take. But yeah, it does require a lot of communication, and I found that in guilds you actually got to know people pretty well from doing this PQ, because it relied heavily on teamwork rather than just killing stuff, which is what a lot of the other PQs in this game have really turned into. And yeah, so it involves jump quests and all sorts of stuff later on, but yeah, first off it's getting through this stage, which is quite similar to well, it requires similar attention to one of the floors in Oz Tower, where you get shown a pattern, and you have to remember that pattern through a number of stages. The pattern here does change, but whereas the pattern in Oz Tower, on I think floor 36 or 37, would keep the same rhythm 8 times. So yeah, that's where it's a little different, but that's what I kind of relate this one to. So yeah, I actually had to go over my footage just to make sure I got the right one in this stage, or the next one. I think it's the next one, yeah. But yeah, I just didn't want to have to go through it again. So yeah, so pretty much it counts off 4, 5, and then 6 numbers across both sides. So yeah, it's can take a while to get used to it, but once you get the hang of it, it's you know, not too difficult. And yeah, so I think the one that I miss is, yeah, the one up in the top right there. I didn't see that one because the mist going across the screen is actually quite distracting, and yeah, you can't often see what's going on there. So yep, that's all 3 parts of it, so then we move on to the next one. Normally, if you'd go through this first stage, you'd see contribution gained, but since I've already capped out on my guild contribution for today, I didn't get any. So I probably will do another run where I just go through and count up the amount of points possible from one run, because that'll be one of the things that will be looked at in terms of the PQ. Because what I'd like to see is just something that provides an alternative to just boss hunting, you know, because it can get pretty, not boring, but just repetitive, having to go through and just kill the same bosses every single day to get guild rep. And then I know you can do other things to get guild rep as well, but having this as an alternative to go and get guild rep, you can do it with a group of people. Right now you need a minimum of 6, and if you have less than 6 when you go inside the PQ, you'll automatically get kicked out, which I think is a aspect of the PQ that really needs to be changed, since a lot of PQs you can really go in with 3 or 4 people and have a maximum of 6 sometimes, depending on what PQ you're going into. I really think it should change back to that sort of setup. What I was doing here was just a little bit of fun, because these golems used to one-hit people, and now, yeah, I can just... This is one of the things that would need to change, because Xenons can fly, and you really shouldn't be allowed to fly in a map like this. Oh, and at this point, I stressed out because I thought I'd forgotten to bring a teleporting class. And yeah, it's actually good that I brought my Kana, because then I can see whether Kanas actually can teleport through down the bottom, because through those pillars down the bottom, there's walls that are blocking you, and the only way to get through it is by teleporting. And it's important to test that other newer classes actually work in this PQ, because quite often you'll find that, especially in CWK PQ's case, some classes don't get recognized and they won't be allowed to go in, and I'm pretty sure that's not affecting anyone at the moment, but yeah, it used to be a thing with some of the new classes that came out. So yeah, and Xenon able to fly over here, it's pretty funny, and they can't really hit me either because they just keep I keep guarding them. So yeah, that's an interesting fact. I really didn't want to test whether they could kill me or not, but yeah, so normally you'd dark sight through here and then drop the key and then go inside, but yeah, I flew over the top because I didn't want to bring the shadow up because I didn't see a need. But yeah, going back to the amount of people required, it really needs to change so that 3 people or 4 people are a minimum amount, because if I can do this by myself, where I only use, well, in this case I've used 3 different characters, so I've used a mage for teleport, I've used a level 27 first job character, because you need that to do the jump quest, and then the rest I've used this Xenon for the rest of it. I do use the Corsair to pick up something, but that's because it wasn't dropping for the Xenon. But if I wasn't lazy, I could have grabbed the Kana and used that computer to go and pick up the item, so you really only need 3 to complete the PQ. So yeah, it's just something, that's the main limiting factor for this PQ, I think, where you needed too many people to do this PQ, so then for it lost its attractiveness. If it was just something that you could use 3 people for, I'm sure it would be used a lot more. But then there's also a factor that the rewards at the end aren't worth the time you put into this. So I put about 40 to 50 minutes, judging by my recording time, into this PQ. So I sat down for about an hour altogether, getting everything ready and then going through. And what did I gain at the end of this PQ? Nothing. There was only white potions and stuff dropping at the end, which is really strange. So yeah, if there can be a change where there's only 3 people needed, and then you can have more than 6 as well, so you can have 2 parties, 3 parties, 4 parties, however many people want to come along, and you can all build up individual guild rep. So yeah, just having a lower required minimum would be nice. With this stage, there's a lot of jump quests, so I've just fast forwarded through them because I'm using my Oz Tower top, but yeah, I kept getting knocked off even though I was using a 4-second invincibility top. But you get the real gist of it. The idea of it was just to make sure that there was nothing really wrong with each one. So just really going through and, I wouldn't say beta testing it, but just doing the normal thing of checking for glitches, seeing if the maps are okay. A lot of the map layouts in terms of images need to be changed, because especially in this map, yeah, this one here with the black bars, that needs to change. Yeah, either the black bars need to stay throughout all of it or get removed altogether. But I think that's just due to the ratio changes that the game's gone through since this PQ came out. Because yeah, it is a really old PQ. It's probably one of the last remaining original PQs of the game, because all the other ones have had either been removed or been changed in some way. So this and CWK are probably one of the really old ones. And I don't want to see it change too much, so you know, don't get me wrong in that regard. I really do have a strong feeling for this PQ in terms of just nostalgia factor, and there's a few other videos made by YouTubers that I really look to in terms of highlighting why this PQ is really just really important to, like, when I think of like when I've played this game and for how long I've played this game, I think back to all the times that I've spent with other guilds, not really with Forsaken. I think we've only done 2 or 3 guild runs together. We did other sorts of bosses, but yeah, just thinking back to the time that I had with other people that I knew who don't play anymore, and yeah, it was really fun getting to know them through doing this sort of teamwork together. So yeah, keep falling off. And yeah, so in this stage there's the 4 sword thingies, I guess you would call them. So there's 3 in this room, and then there's the 1 from the thing where you require dark sight that I flew over the top of. And yeah, so you just take each one into the, I think it's called like the throne room or the trophy room or something like that. Yeah, the room of justice, that's what it's called. Yeah, so each thing there's sort of different jump quests for each one. This one, it's similar to 9F in Oz Tower, where you just keep teleporting upwards instead of downwards in 9F's case. But yeah, I can also fly all the way through it, but I figured, you know, why cheat my way through it when, you know, I can actually do the thing for real. So yeah, it's not too bad. The only thing I find quite frustrating is the movement factor. Like, the movement speed either needs to be put to normal speed or something in that type of just reducing how fast you move, because when you're trying to jump onto platforms you really have to be quite direct or you'll miss. So yep, just go and grab the last pillar, and then there's more jump quests up ahead. There's a lot of jump quests in this PQ. I think that's what makes it enjoyable. But yeah, so in terms of like the changes that I'd like to see happening, I wouldn't want to see any real stage of this PQ changed. I'd just like to see the mechanics of it change a little bit in terms of like what the character is able to do. So remove the ability to do flash jumps in some cases, remove the ability of fast movement speed, remove the ability to use certain skills like flying, just to make it challenging like it used to be. And it would all build up to decent rewards at the end, so things like Master Craftsman cubes, Meister cubes, Clean Slate scrolls, Epic Potential scrolls. And you might think, well, those are some pretty big rewards for just a PQ, but you think about it, at the end there's boxes that you open if you've got only 30 seconds to open them, so it would just be like beating an elite boss and having a certain amount of time to get a reward from it. So there's got to be some decent reward to make people do the PQ in the first place. And yeah, I think that kind of reward. And then for other people who aren't really looking for those kind of rewards, but more of a reputation or competition type aspect, since we're already doing something different with the overall guild points and guild level, turn the old guild board into a dojo board, where the fastest run times from each guild in a respective server are listed, so it makes people want to practice the PQ, get faster at it, so therefore their guild holds the honorable spot of being the fastest. So I think, just making it attractive to different sorts of people for different reasons. And it would really just give reason for people to do it again, because at the moment, well, prior to doing this I thought it was still broken, so I guess it's not broken anymore for the time being, hopefully. But other than that, I wouldn't really have any real reason to do this. Like, I do love going through it and just doing all the different stages, because this stage in particular is different to the jump quest one, where you've got to work out a problem with the 4 knight statues you got there. So these dark wraith type things are dropping scrolls and medals, so 4 of them. You've got to drop them along the bottom. In the top right and top left room there's different items that you have to collect, so I'll go in here on the Xenon and try and collect them. But what I think happened is, with the food, I don't think the person holding the scrolls and the medals can collect the food. I think someone else needs to. So yeah, and it's very annoying, this room in particular, to get around on. But yeah, so I opened 2 platters and nothing was there. I opened the 3rd one, nothing was there. And I didn't want to screw this PQ over by opening all these things and not getting any food, and then having to keep resetting the thing outside to a point where it doesn't require the food. So I just waited until I could bring the Corsair in and then have it go through and collect everything, and then I decided I'd collect the drinks on the beginner character. So yeah, therefore I used 3 different characters for this stage. So yeah, that's just one of the things I was looking at in terms of, like, do you really require 6 people to do this PQ? In order to do it quick, sure, I'd say you need 6 people, but an effective rough number would be 3, I'd say. So yeah, just it would be good to have an Oz top for this, with the invincibility add-on, just so you don't get hit off the platforms. I decided just to test my theory again by opening these 2 things, because I'd already collected 3 food on the Corsair, and opened that one, couldn't see anything on the Corsair or the Xenon, and then I opened this one to see if I would get any food, and I didn't. So I think that backs it up, even though there is a platter still behind that pillar, which I didn't see when I was running, so might have dropped there. I don't know. I'll test it on my second time around when I have a guild contribution to be gained. So yep, now I jump on the little first job character, and it's actually well, not decently powered, but it actually does okay in the beginner stage, because it's I think it's wearing 10 attack brown work gloves, something like that, some old item that I found. So yeah, this room is much easier than the food room, where you just attack the boxes until you get enough drinks. You need to collect 4 of them. And yeah, the speed and everything in this room is fine. You can't flash jump, but you can get around relatively quickly. And yeah, it's you'd get through this stage pretty quickly if you had actually 3 people going through and collecting stuff, because someone would be collecting the food and the drink, while the other person's getting set up to do the medals and everything else. So yeah, it would be faster than I've done it. But yeah, so that's all done. So then jump back over to the Xenon, and then yeah, so you just go down here. The thing to remember, and it's funny that it's still actually a feature, if as you talk to the statue, as you drop things, the more you get wrong, the more mobs it will spawn. So yeah, the way to avoid that is to click end chat rather than next. So yeah, that's just a tip, because you might have people either AFKing or not paying attention to what's going on, and they could get killed if they have a lot of low HP. But yeah, so drop 4 medals, and pretty much it's just problem solving. So yeah, you just drop 4 of them, talk to the statue, it tells you what it thinks. There's 1 correct and 3 unknown, so it means that you only need 1 of the 4 things for the whole thing. It can say 1's correct, several are incorrect, and 1 is unknown, so that means that just 2 of them are in the incorrect position, but you need 3 medals altogether. In this case, I only need 1 medal, and this is what I was talking about, where if you click next instead of end chat, so yeah, it summons those things again, but they don't drop anything. And yeah, I talked to him by accident, but yeah, so drop scrolls. And really all you're trying to do is work out the combination within 7 tries, I believe. And then if you fail the 7 tries, it resets itself and summons a whole bunch of mobs that you have to kill. So yep, this one says all are unknown. I've tried 2 times, so it means that it's either a combination of medals, food and drink, or, you know, a medal and some other random combination, but it doesn't involve scrolls. So I just pick them all up. And yeah, let's use this guy first. So drop all the drink. So it goes all are unknown, so it will just be 1 medal and 3 food, which is convenient because I only got 3 food in the first place. So if it was more than that, then I'd be in trouble. So yeah, and that's another thing, you can't pick up the ETC drops on a character that did not collect the stuff, so do not let anyone who's prone to AFKing in your party collect it. So yeah, now that I know what's required, I'll just start guessing what I need. So, you know, 1 medal and then the rest food, and then I'll just move them around as I go in terms of the positioning. So yeah, the Corsair has the food, so drop. Drop, and then you just talk to the thing, everything's correct, I guessed correctly, and it'll open a secret passageway right here. So yeah, this stage is full of jump quests as well, but you need to do 4 sets of jump quests in order to get 4 ETC drops. 3 of them can be done by people of any class or level rank, but 1 of them needs to be done by a first job character under level 30. So I tend to, well, I used to always pick something that was just naturally strong, so in that case it would be thieves, because yeah, just with throwing stuff it kind of just generally strong. So if you collect the drops, it's one of those, you know, drop the items to open the door. And this was one of the jump quests that was fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. The movement speed's a little bit quick, but if you get used to handling yourself through them, it's not that big of an issue. But yeah, so I haven't done it in a while, so yeah, I was a bit rusty. And yep, so it's just movement platforms. You need to work out which direction they're going, and it's quite similar to one of the Golux pre-quest jump quests, I think. Yep, so just keep going. But yeah, the other jump quests in this thing are a bit more concerning because you can flash jump, and I think in some cases you can fly as well, which you just shouldn't be able to do because you got to make it challenging to some point. It doesn't need to be changed, but yeah, so if you went through that door underneath the box, it would take you through to the waiting area that would be connected to all the other jump quests. So I just want to go back because I need to do another 2 on this character, and then I need to do the beginner one. So yeah, they don't take too long. These rooms, yeah, nothing really else different in them. And yeah, so I really enjoy this PQ just because of how detailed it is in terms of just the different places. And yeah, it feels sort of like a theme dungeon one, but yeah, it's just, yeah, a nice one. This would normally be done by a hermit or a night lord back in the day. But yeah, Snipe's able to hit it back there, and I guess a bowmaster or a marksman could do it as well. For some reason all the drops for these mobs dropped in the middle. I'm not sure whether that's a glitch or not, but yeah, as long as it drops the correct amount, you're in the clear. I think it used to just drop something up where that monster in the first place sat, and then you'd have to flash jump across there to collect it. But yeah, it's not too much of an issue. And yeah, with this one it's just a 2-level jump quest where you got to use doors to teleport. Not too difficult. Yep, so one more for the Xenon, and then off to the level 27 Rogue. Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly where the other one is, because they don't really have signposts for them. There's a lot of teleporting around. So you just got to guess. So yeah, I think with this one, yeah, you're able to flash jump. It's a 3-tier jump quest, and yeah, you shouldn't really be able to flash jump here because it defeats the purpose of doing all this stuff. And I think I might actually be able to fly if I give it a go. Yeah, so I'm able to fly as well. So it's something that needs to be changed. The only concerning thing was that I wanted to use fly just to check whether I could in the map, but with this PQ it is quite glitchy when you're running through. People are prone to DCing. You can also flash jump up here, so I fell off, but I jumped back up. So yeah, you can DC quite easily, and especially using skills like fly, you can DC with that. So yeah, now that I'm done with this, I could have actually gone through into the waiting room, but I decided just to go over to where the beginner one starts. Yep, so there's, oh, not the beginner one, the low level character one. Yep, so now we jump over to this one again. And yeah, so I was actually quite surprised because I started recording on this character because I expected it to black screen, so I wanted to show it actually black screening just to prove that it was broken. But yeah, so it turns out the room wasn't broken and it has the old purple slimes in it, which is, it's a good thing. So I'm not sure whether there was actually something mentioned about it being looked at and fixed, or just whether, as it tends to happen, some rooms glitch out and then they just miraculously get fixed. So yeah, well, I'm not complaining. It's a good result, so it means that the full PQ can be tested as long as the next room worked, which it did. So yeah, it just kind of stopped you from getting the final drop, which is the King's Hat. And yeah, so without that you weren't able to summon the NPC from dropping all 4 items of clothing. But yeah, so, and this room was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with it in terms of being able to flash jump or anything like that. It's actually the hardest, I feel, the hardest jump quest out of all 4 for this stage, just because of how the pillars are placed. So you don't actually know when you're supposed to jump on the previous platform, which I got, and this platform here. So yeah, it's the timing is really important with it all, and you kind of have to just really pay close attention. I remember like some people used to take ages doing this one, and yeah, some people were prone to tears sometimes because they were just taking so long and not being able to do it. So yep, and next jump, next jump. So yeah, just a 2-leveled one, nothing major. I'm not sure whether that little black image that keeps appearing behind was just the computer that I was recording on, or whether it was the actual map glitching. So there might still be an issue with the map, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I'll use it on a different computer next time just to see whether that does appear again. But yeah, it was giving me a little bit of worry when I was actually doing the jump quest, because I didn't want the character to DC randomly, because that would have kicked everyone out of the PQ and it would have ended there, which wouldn't have been good. So yep, there's the King's Hat, and yeah, all we need to do is just run over to the door on the right here. You'll notice as I go through it, I get +5 contribution, so that's roughly the amount of points you'd get per thing for doing each room. So yep, as it says there, gained +5 contribution, and you'd get that for every room that you enter from doing the jump quest, and I'm pretty sure moving through each stage you'd get 5 points as well. I'm not sure how much it was at the end, killing it though, because I killed it on Xenon. So yep, now we move back to the Xenon, and we just pick any room really that we've completed just to go through to the end. And yeah, the only other thing blocking our way to getting to Urgoth and fighting him is whether the sacrifice worked or not, and that was actually quite an interesting issue that I found, but it only took me a few minutes to work out what I actually should try, and it worked in the end, which was good. But normally it's a sacrifice that opens the door, so you just get normally the low level character because you use everyone else. When the boss is really hard to kill, you needed all your DPS in order to kill the boss. You'd yeah, sacrifice a low level character to open the door, and what you needed to do was drag and drop the earrings that you're wearing in order to open the door. For some reason in these maps now you can't drag and drop. I'm not sure whether that's across all maps in the game or just this one in particular, but yeah, it stopped you from doing that, which is quite an issue when you think about it, because you know you need to be able to do it to open the door here. So yeah, just taking off the earrings, just unequipping them I mean, won't fix it. So yeah, it was a bit of a problem, but I found my way around it. So yeah, I unequip the earrings, it kills the character, but the door doesn't open, so I found that to be a bit of a problem. And there's two ways to get into the boss room, so either the pillar with the crack in it, where the thing's lying next to it, that's to go up onto the observation level, or there's the door here which you can use to get inside and onto the ground level. So yeah, it's a bit of an issue not being able to drag and drop, but what I ultimately end up doing is unequipping and then dropping them straight away, so then the game thinks that these items have been dropped. So pretty much what it needs to do, it just needs to see the earrings being dropped in front of the door. So it's similar to the other doors that we've encountered where you need a drop to open the door. And yeah, it's just a little bit tricky to do. So yeah, so there's me trying to drag and drop them and it's not working. What was funny though, if you watch this, I'll unequip them and yeah, something really odd happens. Come on. So yeah, I think I'm trying again with the thief. Oh no, I'm still trying to drag and drop on the thief. But yeah, either due to the amount of HP that I have or the fact that I have auto buff on, when I take off the earrings I don't die, so I found that to be a little bit interesting. So yeah, I put my old earrings on. If you watch my HP bar, it only goes down halfway and then heals again, so I'm not really sure what that's about. So yeah, that's another glitch for this PQ. So yeah, that's a bit odd. Or maybe that it's just that I'm 250 and it doesn't want to kill me. So yeah, because I don't have any EXP to lose. But yeah, so what I ended up doing was this. I'd open my item tab, open my equip tab, unequip, and then drop straight away. So I'd still die because I lost my earrings and the earrings disappear, so therefore you need to drop the earrings. So I'm not sure whether it's just designed to be like that now instead of what it used to be in the old days. You know, maybe it's not an issue, maybe that's just how you're supposed to do it. So yeah, this is the boss room. And the thing I'd been wondering all along about this boss was whether the HP had been increased. I love it how the background music still changes to the boss music. And yeah, so you break the gem, which is the item you've actually come after to complete the PQ. And yeah, you just keep attacking it until the boss summons. And yeah, I was curious to see how much HP it had, because I actually wanted to kill this boss for my 250 video, but the PQ was broken. And it's hilarious that my hypergram field can kill it just like that. So that's one really major thing that needs to happen with this boss. I really think they should just scale it back to what it used to be in the old days, in terms of like the amount of people that was required to kill it. Like if you watch Dre86's video of GPQ, you can see how many people it took in 2006, 2007 to be able to kill that boss. So what I mean by scaling back is to make it comparable to what it used to be in the old days to now, so that, you know, it's a hard boss to kill and it requires a few guild members to kill it. And not make it too difficult, not like Lotus status or anything like that, but just make it somewhat difficult where, you know, like the statues and everything actually do damage that can really harm you. So yeah, nothing decent drops from these boxes, so it's open to discussion what people think should be dropped. But yeah, it's not really that rewarding to go through. So yeah, that's the PQ in its entirety, guys. I'm sure some of you remember doing it, some of you have probably never ever done it before, but it's actually pretty fun when you're doing it with a group of friends. So yeah, thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or go to Basil, Reddit, or the Maple forums where I've got threads going to discuss this PQ. See you guys later.